Hello and welcome to Lotus Reverie First Nexus. This is actually the first game that I've played during Indie Sunday that we're going to complete in a full Let's Play. So, given that I've started the game, played through most of the demo I assume, in that Indie Sunday episode, if you want to follow the series, you're gonna have to go back and watch that video first. Because I'm gonna start where we left off there. I'll link you to it in the description, so you don't have to search for it yourself. But that was the first, 2.5 hours of the game. So, you could possibly just start here, but you'd miss a whole lot of important stuff. And you'd basically have no idea what's going on. And it's a bit too much plot for me to summarize quickly. So yeah, if you want to follow the series, watch that video first. So, because I switched from the demo to the actual game now, I had to redo basically up until the point where we came into the demo. Thankfully, it's got a very useful skip option, meaning that I had to redo the battles, but I already knew how they were done anyway, so those didn't take too long. Unfortunately, you can't really speed up animations during battle, so those still took a while. But just going through the text took maybe 2 minutes. So that was nice. But yeah, let's go. I'll do episodes. They might be of varying length. I'll try and see if I can find good stopping points. I want to keep them somewhere between 40 minutes and an hour, ideally. So let's go. The one interesting part I found is that the people who are here switch every time you load into this area. So if I were to back out now and load into it again, there'll be other people here. That is even true for going into the same save point, because before I left and I restarted the game to do the intro and everything, only Violet was here. And now I backed out, loaded the same save again, should be the same scenario. Now there's forgotten the names of all of these guys already. Now there's other people here. He's got a 3-letter name that starts with an R, I'm pretty sure. He starts with H, and I forgot her name. Wait, if I look into the diary, there they are. Helio. Yeah, not the usual name, and Rue, or Rue, depending on if you want to pronounce it French. And Rosemary, yeah. Alright. So, we've got a couple things. We can do main events, we can do secondary events, we can explore, go to the training ground, or go to the library. We didn't really do anything in the demo yet regarding to that. We pretty much came to this screen and we're like, okay, that's a good stopping point. So, why don't we start? Can I just click on them to talk to them? I've forgotten all their voices, mostly. No, I can't click on them, I'd have to talk to them. Through secondary events, I would assume. Why don't we head to the library first? Let's see what we can do here. Diary. Yeah, enhancement, there's shock, and there's grenade. I'm probably not going to be too much... not going to make too much use of these. Enhancement, definitely. Maybe less so for shock and grenade. Got one available slot. What if I just study? This action will consume time, yes. Well, time to study. Each aura is like a footprint, completely unique for each person. But due to how the aura always fluctuates, this is hard to fully confirm. The study of magic is the capacity to replicate the same fixed results, transforming the aura in whatever you may wish. Transform the present into what was in the past, to let memories live again. Your studying has borne fruit. You are now able to memorize more spells. Good. Oh, there's Rosemary over there, carrying around some stuff. Rue is still here. What about secondary events? Oh, there's a lot of them, and we can choose some of them. Okay. Noticeably, no event for Columbine. Interesting. And what does exploration do? Check the castle. Maybe not quite yet. What about the training ground? I can train dagger, sword, or spear. I'm more of a sword guy. But do we do... Yeah, you know what? Sure. 1 sword session, please. Oh, I can do 2. Can I not? Or do I need... What does that... Oh, I need 2 slots to train sword, so I need to train dagger first. I see. Yeah, sure. Well, time for some training. In a moment of desperation, it is possible to use more stamina than usual for one final attack. If you're going to go overboard and enter a punished state anyways, why not go all out? You might be able to turn the tables. Alright, can equip more battle styles. Helio's here. Alright, let's do a secondary event. Who do we talk to? Helio looks like he wants to talk about something. Sure, let's go. Fantasy. Yeah. You make it to the training grounds and hear the blows of someone practicing. You would usually just leave and come back later, but you hear some weird whispering carried by the winds, and your curiosity gets the better of you. You're strong. Helio is fighting some mannequin, but after each hit he makes some strange gestures and swings his sword around. But that was only 10% of my power. Ha! You'd better leave before he learns of your presence. My special attack! Wow! Slowly walking backwards, you saw nothing. You understand Helio better now. Thistle is not coming tonight. You better go to sleep. Alright, so 3 actions was our day. So I assume this is now the 2nd day, and our tension bar is slowly rising. We have to make sure this does not hit the cap, otherwise we lose. What about main events? I hope this still lets me choose. Okay, yeah. You know what? We're gonna do some more secondary events. What about ministry? Sure. This is very serious, Thistle. We have to cancel all our plans today to fix it. I'd forgotten. Sink, you're not moving out of your seat until we get answers. You two have been like this for a while, but I still don't get what's going on. Thistle and Violet swivel their heads in your direction, looking eerily like owls. In a way, we're like an independent community, right, Sink? In the sense that we have our own regulations and all that? Exactly. It's like we have our own country where each person plays a unique role. I already don't like where this is going. Therefore, each of the castle members need to take a ministry position. And I wasn't wrong. For example, Rue is in charge of the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Those are the ones that fit him the least. And Gregorian Chant. What? Rue says the Ministries of Infrastructure, Development and Indoor Stone Skipping covered. The what? Helio is the Minister of Technology, Culture and getting stuck badly humming a song's chorus. Columbine is the Minister of Security, Tourism and turning the pillow around to sleep on the cool side. That's why we need a title for your ipso facto, Sink. What do you want? What do you think you can contribute to this group? No, to this country. Huh? I guess I can... Thistle and Violet are watching your every move with their utmost attention. Shaken and agitated, you just blurt out whatever comes to your mind while nervously putting your fingertips together. Ministry of Justice, Freedom, and... You have to say it louder. There's a proper formal procedure to this. It needs to be a declaration. Huh? Repeat with me. From now on, I proclaim for myself the Ministry of Justice. From now on, louder. From now on, I proclaim for myself the Ministry of Justice, Freedom, and popping bubble wraps. Thistle and Violet look at each other, keeping their serious face on at all times. What kind of nonsense is that? Huh? Here we're looking for useful stuff and you give us that idiocy. The two look at each other again, their faces flushing with the sheer effort of trying to maintain their composure. But Sink looked really cute there. I hope you captured all of that properly on video. What are you talking about? Of course, I got a fantastic shot.
Shot? Also, we didn't tell you, but we both share the same minister position. The Ministry of Teasing and Tricks, because we obviously made it all up to get you to say some nonsense.
You were right. She collapsed in the face of social pressure. You won the bet.
Sink is always so serious, but in the end we managed to get her to say some gobbledygook.
I'm going to make sure to project it on the big screen for everyone else later.
All that effort to make a fool of me?
The two nod in unison.
Did you really cancel all your plans just for this?
And it was worth it.
The pair give perfectly synced thumbs up of approval, accompanied by their brilliant smiles.
The video or your life. Now.
You understand Violet better now, and Fizzle as well. Alright. Sure, why not check the castle? Let's see what that does. You take a stroll around the castle, trying to get used to your new home. There isn't much they haven't already shown, but you can't help but stop when you find a particular room that stands out from all of the luxury. Lost items. This is the shabbiest, most pathetic looking sign you have ever seen. Welcome, Sink. I know you've lost your memory, but I'm not sure we have one of those around here. Very funny. Are you in charge of this too? I know it's not a secret that I'm capable of anything, but the truth is that I was just passing by. I see. Do you really lose so many things that you need an entire room to store them all? No, but hey, we have plenty of space, so long live profligacy. We have everything here, so it's weird to lose anything. Even if we do lose something, it's easy to just pick up a new copy of it. No one's going to complain. If you say so. Exactly, that's the spirit. Take a look. If there's anything you're interested in, you can go ahead and take it. Just like that. What if its actual owner comes to pick it up? Nah, as I said before, we've got enough to spare. Should be fine as long as you only pick one.
There's a lot of stuff here, but you feel more attracted to some of these items for some reason.
Since you have amnesia, this feels like one of those personality tasks. Whatever you pick up by intuition may define you in some way. Even if you can change it later, this decision is the one that will define you better as a person. Well, let's see what we've got to choose from. Oh god, that's a lot. You know what? We're picking up the dice. They are rigged. How do you know that? They don't look like they've been tampered with. I'm quite talented at understanding the composition of objects by touching them and surrounding them with my aura, but it's strange.
What is it?
In most games that use these kinds of dice, you're aiming to roll 6s, but these dice are unbalanced towards 1 and 2 instead.
They're incorrectly rigged? No, you just don't know the right game, therefore. Sync, please.
Yes, ma'am. That explains why they're here and nobody wants them.
Who would bother to do something like that in the first place? Do you want the defective dice? Yes, even if none of you guys understand what they're for.
Huh? Why do you want them?
I don't really know myself, but their weirdness caught my attention.
The weird one is you in the end. Whatever, come back here if you want to exchange them for something else.
No, we're keeping the dice.
Can we do more? Oh yeah, we can. Okay, there's different options. But for now, what do we do? Do we do a main event? Sure. Pursuit. Yes. You better keep your hands off Columbine without my permission, unless you pay me with pictures. What are you even talking about? Since you arrived, Columbine has shown a particular attachment to you, right? I've been feeling so lonely ever since you took her away from me.
I didn't do a thing. By a particular attachment, I assume you're referring to her stalking, and she's frankly doing a terrible job at that.
3 whiteboards filled with ideas for fun games wasted because of all this.
Coming up with new words only makes you look shadier, you know that, right?
I was obviously just joking. Geez, girl, don't take it so seriously. As if I actually filled 3 whiteboards.
It's 4.
Let me guess, you filled more? Oh, 7, okay, fair enough. A grand total of 7.
Amazing.
After a while of circling the castle, it comes to your attention the usual suspect hasn't made her appearance so far, and neither have the usual incidents that inevitably happen when she follows you around. Rose is growing more discouraged by the second. Seeing her like this, you can't help but raise the question. So, what's your relationship with Columbine? I see you like to, how would you call it, explore her body? It's not really about the body, it's her face, her expression. It just screams it, you know what I mean? So innocent and strange. It's almost like she's shouting, please take advantage of me. I'm sure she's been an innocent good girl her entire life, and that depressing and dark attitude she's currently parading around is nothing but a phase. I don't know if I would say the same considering what happened at our first contact. Your case is special. To be honest, if you have no idea what happened there, I doubt anyone does. Columbine herself is probably the most confused of us all. What do you mean? I'm not 100% confident, and there's a chance I'm screwing this up beyond belief, but I truly don't think she has bad intentions. I mean, I get the feeling that she's not even sure why she's observing you. In this sort of situation, the future trajectory of the relationship between you two rests in your hands. And you're basing this on her being perfectly aware of how bad she is at the noble art of stalking, compared to a graduated and irresistible master like me. And yet, her self-awareness hasn't stopped her from attempting to write this persecuting fable starring you. Until now. We don't know that yet. Maybe she's just taking a vacation. And here we are trying to ruin it when she should be resting. No time for resting in the dire world of diversity exploration. I'm already regretting playing along with you. But you still haven't said no. Maybe you're just playing hard to get. Hey, now that Columbine is missing, how about I use you as a substitute? How about you calm down a bit, Satan? Joking. You know, you're so dry that it wouldn't even be fun with you. Columbine is a special case. At first I just wanted her to come out of her shell, open herself up a bit. But after I saw her so frazzled, I found that look on her face just too alluring. You admit you like seeing her suffer? Let's be all pretentious and call it Schadenfreude. That doesn't make it any better. Chill. Now she has you, and I suppose I've lost my reason to continue with this. It does make me a bit sad though. Seeing her like this just brings back memories, and we don't have that much time left. A genuine, albeit brief, smile flashes across her lips through that last sentence, which was so quiet as to be almost inaudible. But she quickly changes topics, continuing her search for Columbine. You find it appropriate to split up for that task. However, you get the distinct feeling that Rose was in a hurry to scurry off as soon as possible. After a short walk, you've reached the chemin de ronde of one of the exterior castle walls bordering the river. It's a lofty area with a terrifying fall that would make anyone dizzy just from looking down. Or so it should, but there's a person standing right on the edge of the Merlon who seems to disagree. Columbine? Reacting to your voice, the girl turns around and tilts her head, a blank expression on her face. Her vacant face inevitably reminds you of her ominously suicidal comments back at the slumber party. While you took them to be jokes then, they're not a sentiment so easily forgotten. Columbine is so close to the edge of the wall that it looks like she could jump at any moment, but instead she wrinkles her brows deep in thought. Then she looks behind herself, checking her surroundings. Finally, she points a surprised finger at herself. Are you talking to me? Are you trying to die? Why are you standing there? Columbine looks up to the sky, taking a second to answer. Am I? I'm not so sure. There's water down there which might cushion the fall. In movies they always survive, right? Huh? Columbine approaches even closer to the edge. She sways around softly, as if leaving it to Lady Luck herself what side she will fall. You cautiously try to reason with her as you inch closer. Aren't you afraid of falling? Oh? You at least shouldn't have the room in your heart to care. Anyone would be affected. Nobody would dare to do something like that unless they're a tulpa, because they're immortal and all that, right? It's not easy to forget about all that after listening to the stories. Yep, not easy at all. But it would be too obvious. That can't be the reason. So obvious you wouldn't try to test it out? The girl faints, falling over, and you instinctively leap to her rescue. Columbine smiles and she returns to the chemin de ronde with a nimble jump. You manage to catch your breath while she seems disheartened you didn't just let her fall. Too obvious, of course. Even if tulpas are immortal, they still feel pain. Such a plunge wouldn't be pleasant for anyone. Unless the aim was to make it all so obvious and confusing at the same time that, well, you know. Unable to come up with the proper words, the girl swings her wrist in a circle as if mimicking the thoughts turning inside her head. But no, that way of thinking makes no sense. Why commit suicide if a tulpa can't die? You can get that adrenaline rush without going to masochistic extremes. Then what am I doing? I don't know. What's wrong with you, Columbine? The girl looks at you with big eyes as if she doesn't understand. This is why I was looking for you. Up until now, you've been the only one I haven't been able to truly talk to, and I just don't understand. What do you want out of me? Why do you pursue me? Why that obsession? I'll turn it around. Why aren't the others obsessed? After all, you appeared during the power outage and you're the odd number to our once even group. Do you need any more reasons? Columbine sighs, annoyed at having to explain herself further. She circles around you with a wild and unusual flounce. Look, I'll give you my own perspective on this. I'm the opposite of Rose. I care about the why, not the how. Why don't we talk about the day you arrived, the day of the outage? Nobody was hurt. There weren't any attacks, victims, or vandalism. Nothing. It's so easy to say that if there wasn't an incident, there wasn't any motive. But tell me, what if that's a lie? What if something truly happened that night? Her words are unpleasant, but her expression is the opposite. An elated grin stretches across Columbine's face. This castle is a fortress in more ways than you can imagine, but to guarantee that security, we sold our liberty. The walls have ears, there are cameras in every nook and cranny. Everything, absolutely everything gets recorded. It would be impossible to set a trap unless the power went out. It only lasted an instant, so there wasn't much time, but you wouldn't really need more than that to attack without being caught. A human die? Bingo! One fewer person. A tulpa? They'll stand back up after a while, but they wouldn't be able to publicly identify the perpetrator. Either way, the rest of the group wouldn't register that an attack had just occurred. Mission accomplished. You obtain information without anyone knowing, and the victim must remain silent. Revealing themselves as a tulpa would be idiotic. Can you imagine? Oh yeah, I was killed last night, but I'm fine now, thanks for asking. That's what everyone here is doing. Don't mistake this for anything besides a game of who's who. I'm no different, I'm just a little bolder than most. The question here, Sink, is... Columbine sucks in a deep breath, her hands quivering and her lips trembling in excitement. Who are you? The girl confronts you, eye to eye. For an instant, both of you are trapped in this standstill, meeting each other's gaze. In the end, however, she's the first to look away. Yeah, the amnesia and all that. No need for you to repeat that. By the way, do you know how a tulpa's memory works? Since we're on this topic and all. Everything about them is determined by their creator, their host. Their own past and memories are nothing but a lie created from the very person who brought them to life. It doesn't end there, no. Their look, behavior, tastes, mind, everything comes from the subconscious of one single human, taking whatever shape they fancy. And because of that, their past and their future are predetermined by that one single individual. How would you feel about that? You recover your memories only to then learn a fake. Just a fantasy of some other jerk. It's a sad existence. Still, it has its advantages. They are created without flaws. If you can create an ideal person in your mind, they will always be healthy, attractive, intelligent. You get the drill. If you look at it from this perspective, maybe a couple names have already popped out in your mind. From there, it wouldn't be so hard to test the mortality of one or another. Columbine strokes the sleeves on her forearms repetitively, hunching her back into herself as she circles around you. I highly doubt the guilty party here will cause any more outages, since now we're prepared in the event another one happens. I prefer to look one further step ahead, to be useful for once. I think about what the others don't even dare to think. How could I kill someone and evade the cameras? The girl directs all her attention back at you. She draws close once again, too close. She grasps your arm, startling you and making you take a few steps back. Imagine, you falling from this parapet. If you die, I would have taken you out of the picture. If you don't die, you'll drift so far in the water current that everything will be over by the time you come back. No matter the situation, I'll win. Columbine, what are you... Playing dumb, huh, Sink? You still haven't realized? This is one of the few camera blind spots in this castle. Columbine pulls you back with unexpected strength. She leaves you too close to the edge, one small push away from ending it all. You're going to die. Is there anything else you can do? Accept death and jump yourself. Sure. As if I care about any of that in the slightest. With a slight push from Columbine, you lose your foothold and see only empty air before you. For just a moment, as you watch the satisfied face of your murderer, it almost seems as if you were floating in the wind. The fall is brutal, short, intense, and at the end, water. Everything turns black. And we die. Alright. Wait. I have to go back here. Okay. You know what? We'll just quickly skip through these again and then I'll remember to save before main events. But okay. That's good to know that we can die very easily here. Let's just do the same again. Quickly skip through that. And see, that's how quickly this works. I think this was genuinely the first day. So I'll have to go through this again. Oh. Well. Okay. So I skipped some text, but that didn't happen the first time. So, alright. Fizzle came and he's probably just doing the same thing. And we're gonna ask him for some information. How did the castle alliance start? At first, it was just Rosemary and me. Did you two know each other before? No, we didn't. At the time, I'd managed to take over a portion of the castle and barricaded myself inside. Rosemary arrived and offered to help. She was interested in taking shelter so she could wait for someone, and she thought an alliance would be convenient for that purpose. You make it sound like it was just another random event. That was what it seemed like for her. She did not even falter during our first encounter, despite the dangers of interacting with a stranger in this day and age. She seemed to do everything on a whim, like she didn't really care what was going on. I could almost say the same about you or almost all the castle members here. Rosemary said something like that. She seemed to like my serenity. From then on, she's always called me boss and treated me with respect. But I can't tell if it's legitimate or just sarcasm. But I do care what happens in this castle. I do care about keeping you all safe. Meanwhile, Rosemary, I don't know what goes through her head, to be honest. Fizzle lets out a long sigh. To look and to be are different things anyways. Nowhere is that saying more true than with that girl. What can we share? I don't have anything to share. Okay, that's fine. Sweet dreams, Sync. I won't forget. Okay. Well, we did one more thing, didn't we? Ministry. Yep. Let's go through that quickly. And then we're gonna save. And then we're gonna go through that again. It's gone now. I wonder if that is purely based on random chance, that you've got a couple of events and some... Actually, no, what happened was we did exploration. We checked the castle. That's what we did. We grabbed the dice. Yes, give them to me. We're gonna save again. And then... It's still not here, is it? No, it is here. Pursuit. There we go. Okay. Yeah. And then we're gonna go to the same point. And then... Accept death and jump yourself. I kind of want to know what happens. You know what? We saved anyway. Sure, I want to see what happens. Before she can push you, you jump back. You're standing at the very precipice, leaning over the abyss. Columbine's face turns surprised. Her grip on your arm is the only reason you don't plummet. What are you doing? I'm going to jump, or do you want to stop me? Is this some kind of reverse psychology? As if I had time for that. The result will simply be the same. That's just a bluff. Are you sure? You take a deep breath to fill your lungs and look up at the blue sky. You record that last view in your mind before closing your eyes. Your back is the first part of your body to drop, little by little, until gravity kicks in and accelerates your fall to your demise. You lose contact with the ground and gently sway in the air. Wait a moment. Columbine desperately holds onto the wall's edge, stretching out her arm to grab your hand. She is the last thread separating you from certain death. All right, I got it. The girl uses all her strength to bring you back to the safety of the wall. Both of you pant for breath, and you finally open your eyes. Why? Look, she's talking. You don't even know me. There's no way you could know I would go out of my way to save you. Unless, you're immortal, in which case that would just be handing me free information when I was already about to push you, which is... Stupid, obvious, so obvious you wouldn't try to test it out. Columbine halts in amazement when she realizes you just returned her the same question she asked before. She cannot help but let out a short laugh. The smile on her face is completely opposite of her usual self, splendid, cheerful, a previously unknown side of her that inherently feels more genuine. You have quite the courage to do something like that. It's not courage. I don't know what I am, I have no memories, I may die at any moment. Maybe all of this is just one hell of a nightmare. But there are things I can decide for myself. I don't truly believe that we sold our liberty like you said before. I always have the last word in my own decisions. Decide for yourself, your own death? Columbine blushes, looking at you with admiration. Hey, think. The girl's voice softens and her nervous gestures disappear, making her look completely different. Her next question only deepens your confusion. Can we be friends? What? Don't you want to be my friend? No, I didn't say that. I understood the question, but... Really? Thank you so much. Wait, I didn't say... Columbine stands up and leaves the scene, not even leaving you the time to open your mouth and clarify. You can see her trying to contain a maniac laugh as she walks away, back to her usual crazy behavior. Happy at having made a new friend, despite the undeniable fact that she wanted to kill you just a moment ago. Alright, got a heart with Columbine. Like the one any other tyrant had wished for. Good night, Sink. Another wonderful and sunny day, another calm and pleasant night. I'm a bit sleepy, but take it easy. We have to make the most of these moments. In any case, what should we talk about? Tell me, how did the incident start? Nobody knows. It is impossible to know how it started, because each person will tell you a different story. But the monolith must have appeared at some exact moment. Yes, but there are contradictions when you ask around. It appeared without any noise or warning. It simply was there, as if it had been there forever. That doesn't make any sense. At this point, you should be over it. For many, their daily lives just kept going like everything was normal. If only a few thousand disappear in a city of millions, you wouldn't realize either, at least at first. Now imagine those numbers diminishing little by little for a long period of time until it finally affects you. And by the time you've realized something's wrong, the monolith appears, piercing the sky. We did some calculations and less than 0.1% of the population was left after the incident. From millions to thousands, maybe only hundreds, and now after the conflicts and fights, there may be fewer than a dozen remaining. Alright, we won't share information just yet. Our tension bar isn't that high yet. Still perfectly alright. You know what? Or train grenade as well. Yep. Well, time to study. The consciousness of all things, the Vata. It talks about human-shaped deities that inhabit everything that exists. They are all suppositions based on ancient texts and mythology, but there are some good medication techniques for performing magic. Alright. Able to memorize more spells yet again. And... you know what, let's head to the training ground. Train the sword. Well, time for some training. You wanted to focus on your training, but you feel like you're being watched. What happens if you say hi to your stalker? Let's see if she gets the hint. Wow, she got all nervous and fell, which created a domino effect with all the training equipment. Next time you should probably play dumb instead. Alright. And then let's look at secondary events. Alright, we haven't talked to Rue yet this episode. What the? The kitchen is a complete mess. It looks almost as if some wild animals got in and took it over looking for food. And the trail they left behind leads you to the dark storehouse. You carefully tiptoe over and slowly open the door. A rustling noise attracts your attention over to one corner, where you catch the culprit red-handed. Rue first recoils as if the light burns him, before trying to gather up as much candy as he can and make his great escape. He shuffles closer to you, fixing his gaze on you. He winks and discreetly hands you a chocolate bar. He then makes his jailbreak, leaving you still stunned and unable to understand what exactly just happened. Especially when you move your attention to the bribe you're holding in your hands. It's just an empty wrapper. God damn it, Rue. You understand Rue better. Alright. Advantages of living in a castle number 1. It is a castle. Period. In any case, what should we talk about? Yeah. City of Maya. A beautiful place, isn't it? Maya is a young country, but from the beginning they had a vested interest in defining and creating their own culture and traditions to separate themselves from the rest. Maya was originally a small colony full of fugitives and merchants trying to make a fortune in a land of infinite possibilities. They didn't want to owe their loyalty to anybody. Your eyes are shining. You're about to give me another history lesson, right? And I'm going to close the latch so you don't run away. You're sinking to new lows. Alright, I'll be brief. Maya simply had the advantage of a good position geographically, and thanks to several economic strategies, it managed to grow rapidly in just a few years. From there, it became a monarchy independent from the old continent, with enough power to spread out and create its own colonies. Yes, that last part sounds ironic because it is. Until just a few years ago at least. These colonies threatened a civil war or secession war, depending on who you ask. It all started with the assassination of most members of the royal family. However, they managed to find the proper heirs and re-establish their power. Of course, many treaties were signed and the conditions and independence of the colonies were improved, so not everything was terrible. That part about finding the proper heirs sounds odd. That's because Maya has a pretty particular monarchy. Blood has its importance, yes, but it's magical ability that truly defines who's in power. The best magician deserves to be king. When most of the royal family died, it then became very difficult to demonstrate whether any of the leftover heirs deserved the throne. Then, does your royal family get shaken up all the time? Not really. Magic prowess is hereditary to a certain degree, which guarantees a wall of magic potential within the royal family already. And the best magician can be subjective, since every magician has their own specializations. In general, they end up determining the heir just through a demonstration of overall mastery. It's also worth keeping in mind that the people don't really want to switch leaders if they're doing fine. The law is there more as an excuse to change them if necessary, or to just murder them. Considering the difficulty and potential for harm that goes into casting magic, almost everyone would prefer to do a good job ruling instead. In the end, it's a simple matter of motivations. Instead of constantly being challenged to perform such a difficult task, it's easier to just be a competent monarch. What's important is that the person on the throne can be challenged. The excuse itself doesn't matter. Magic is just nicely appropriate due to its inherent difficulty. It sounds like a stupid law that beats around the bush too much to achieve what it actually wants. It is a stupid law, but there is no way to avoid corrupt or evil leaders entirely. With this, Maya can at least avoid incompetent or lazy leaders. The system is at least better than leaving it all to a popularity contest, in my opinion. Okay, what could we share? Alright, sure, let's talk about Columbine. Columbine did what? And then just decided to become friends with you? I'll try to keep an eye on that, starting with this blind spot. I hope it really was only this one isolated incident. Thanks for telling me. Aha, you think. Without any solid proof, we cannot do anything too careless, but take care, okay? Yeah, I think basically just making sure there are no blind spots in camera footage is good enough for the moment. Okay, let's see where I put our tension bar. It's still relatively high, even though we talked to Fissel about it. Main events. You know what? We'll just continue doing main events with Columbine. And I'm assuming we only get to share information with Fissel if we do main events and get information. Therefore, we should do enough so that we can reduce our tension. After the incident on the walls with Columbine, she seems to have increased her stalking activities to a whole new level. When you stop in your tracks, she follows suit. Without even looking back, you feel like calling out her name. Columbine, could you tell me, what do you want now? The girl doesn't answer. When you finally decide to turn around to look at her, she acts surprised, pointing a finger at herself. Are you asking me? Not many other Columbines around here, am I wrong? Of course. Columbine's smile is tense and terrifying, but you know her well enough by now to remain unconcerned. Her reaction switches from one mood to another as you just wait it out until she's finally able to speak up, her voice trembling. Could we talk in your room if you don't mind? The girl covers her face with her hands, probably because you're frowning so hard she worries you're going to make her explode with the sheer force of your anger alone. Now that I think about it, I need to save before doing anything with Columbine. It's nothing weird, I swear. It's just... Columbine grips her wrist, twisting it around several times as she searches for the perfect excuse. To reinforce our friendship. You turn around and start walking away. Oh, I'm serious. The girl blocks your path with extended arms, but she quickly loses that burst of determination and her figure shrinks as she stutters an explanation. Because we're friends, right? That's why I want to, how do I say it, exchange information? Get to know each other better or something? Not sure if you follow. Chit-chat. Exactly. You plotting something? Nothing bad. Her creepy smile doesn't help her cause. And why in my room? Why not yours? No way. My room is a disaster. Impossible. No. Columbine's nervous and forced gestures leave you with no other option. Okay, whatever. But you better have something valuable to say. You won't regret it. Let's go. As soon as you agree, you start to regret it. Well, it's not like it could get worse than this, right? You remain motionless in the center of the room, silently observing Columbine playing around with your furniture, your clothes, and the other few belongings you have. But that's not even the scariest part, no. The worst part is that Columbine is... This room is so cute. OMG, I love it. Columbine is beaming. It says a lot about your personality and your tastes. It's minimalistic. You could even say it belongs to a guy. Don't you think you would enjoy some more colors beyond just white and gold? But whatever you prefer, girl, I still think it has great potential. You can feel your eyes widening with every passing second, and you blink continuously to make sure this isn't a dream. It's a really clean room for sure. That says a lot about your personality. I'm telling you, my own room is a disaster. Something like that. Who are you and where did you put Columbine? What are you talking about? I'm just looking around. We're friends now, right? You draw an intimidating knife. And as friends, we shouldn't keep secrets from each other. You draw 2 intimidating knives. I'm just saying what I truly believe. You draw 17 intimidating knives. Oh my, did I say anything wrong? Not technically, but it doesn't feel natural, right? Too much of a contrast, I would say. I wasn't lying though. I do want to learn more about you. Don't you realize how weird that sounds? Why? Isn't that what everyone does? Learn from others, copy from others? You're missing the context here. So what? Let's be realistic here for a second. The clarity behind your actions, that confidence despite the situation we are trapped in. Come on, just compare us. Wouldn't it be better if I were more like you? What are you even saying, Columbine? I'm not stupid. We're all affected by this situation, and I don't even know what I'm doing or what I should do. I feel like I'm just drifting through life. I tried to kill you. Smashed by the river or the rocks. I would have done it for real without blinking an eye. But you didn't. Well, she did. Not in this timeline. Because you knew what you had to do. I'm not even talking about having ideals, a goal, or any of those idiocies. The issue comes when you encounter all kind of amazing people, all with their unique stories full of noble aspirations and great challenges. I can't fool anyone, they're all better than I'd ever be, but why would I care? Why would I care? In the end, everyone dies, because that's what happens in this absurd game. And what do I have for when my turn comes? Should I just shrug and ignore all the people I killed to make it here? I would love to have some backbone, at least the same fortitude you have until I find my own answer. So sometimes, just sometimes, I think it would be better if I just give up and clear the way for another. If my time has come, why not go out in a way that's worth it? Not a bad plan, right?
Columbine sits on the edge of the bed. She doesn't look at you. No, she can't look at you. And you use me as your example, the amnesiac girl who knows nothing. I don't even know what you find so great about my personality. Comparing myself with the others, I would say I'm just a hindrance.
But what do you think my real personality is like? The charming but boring girl from a second ago, or the repulsive girl with suicidal tendencies who everyone ignores?
Oops. I don't think your attitude is the issue right now for anyone, Columbine, especially considering the heavy burden everyone already carries on their shoulders. But if that's what worries you, and considering I'm in a similar situation, why don't we find out together? Columbine squeezes her eyes shut. Her mouth opens with suspicion as she lets herself fall back on the bed.
You and your sweet words. I wouldn't be surprised if you were really popular with guys before. You've won me over for sure.
I think I'm going to ignore that comment.
Oh, come on, wouldn't you enjoy my company? There's enough space here for the two of us.
That's my bad, don't get so comfy.
I was just joking.
Columbine jumps out of bed after taking the pillow as her hostage and changes the subject.
Oh yeah, I promised to exchange information, didn't I? I want to tell you something interesting as thanks for allowing me to come here, and as an apology for the other day. You say you don't know where you came from, right? But I have an idea, a theory that would make sense. But you have to promise to not share it with anybody.
You raise an eyebrow at first, but as the second passes, you end up nodding, accepting her proposal.
As you already know, our group has already investigated everything on this side of the river. There's only one bridge standing, the one in front of the castle. We also have all kinds of security and surveillance systems set up all along the river. Excessive and useless busy work, but it's not like I'm one to complain, huh? Nobody really believes you've been continuously sleeping at the hospital up until now, but what if you managed to cross the river without anybody realizing?
Columbine grows increasingly excited as she talks, her pace getting so frantic that she has to take pauses between her stuttering or her occasional laughter.
There's a passage to the west, not that far away from here, beyond the hospital. It's perfectly hidden thanks to the sewer system that runs below the river. If you check it out, you may remember something. There's an issue, however, a small detail that I think you would be better off not knowing.
Why are you telling me then?
Because I'm not sure if there's a possibility it could help you out. That passage is locked with a password.
And you know it?
Yes, but don't you think it would be better if I don't tell you? If you manage to remember it by yourself, it would prove you've used it before, right?
Or I could remember as soon as you tell me.
True, however, I'd rather not say, unless of course you were willing to answer something in exchange.
Columbine timidly uses the pillow to partially hide her face, until you pull it away from her to look directly into her eyes. What questions do you want to ask me? I will decide if I want to answer after knowing.
Always so tough, I love it. It's nothing, I simply want to know your opinion. After your time here, who do you think is human or tulpa?
Her eyes open wide, analyzing every detail of your expression. I don't know. I have no idea.
But you probably have your own guesses. If you're forced to select one or the other for each of us, what would you say? Let's start alphabetically. What do you think about Helio?
Oh god. I don't know if this has any effect. Helio... Tulpa, sure.
Uh-huh. And Rose?
Tulpa.
What do you say about Rue?
Human.
Thistle?
Human.
Good old Violet.
Definitely Tulpa.
I've already asked this and I know you don't know, but if you had to guess, what do you think about yourself? What do you think you are?
Human.
And me? What do you think about me?
Human.
Columbine's face moves closer and closer to yours with each question until a wide grin stretches across her face with that final question. Happy? Satisfied, the girl nods and shuffles back to leave some breathing room between you two.
Do you want to know the password then?
Sure.
Astromeria.
Oh. Let me note that down. I probably won't have to, but, you know, just to be safe. That's a flower, right? If I'm not mistaken. Is that the password?
Quite simple, yes. Ring any bells?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
In any case, thanks for having me here today, Sink. I hope you weren't too bothered.
Better than the usual stalking, so it's an improvement.
Oh, don't worry about it. I won't do that much. It's just that... It's nothing. Forget it. Thanks for the hospitality. I won't bother you anymore.
The girl slowly and carefully checks out the room before finally heading to the door. Wait, Columbine, what were you about to say? I won't get mad if that's what you were worried about. The girl shrugs and tilts her head to the side, confused.
No, you see, it's just... Up until now, I thought that meeting people would only bring me grief. Considering the time we have left, making friends is just... Oh. That's why I did what I did on the wall. Cutting it off cleanly before it was too late. Friendships are destined to end, perhaps in the hands of that other person or by your very own hands.
The girl's hair ripples in the wind that rushes in after she opens the door, allowing you to see her full radiant face, happy and free, bidding farewell in her own unique way.
But you know what, Sink? If it's you, I think I wouldn't mind one bit.
2 hearts. Our hatred covered its inhabitants from A to Z. Alright, and that's where we're gonna end this episode. Let's say we've got lots of different save slots. We can make full use of them. Alright, so that was the actual part 1 of Lotus Reverie First Nexus. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.